Blessings, blessings, blessed be. This is Chloe Mercer, and this is a transmission and an insight into the path of the Rose Priestess. So I very much chose to be here at this time of transition where the Divine Feminine is having her resurgence and is rising and guiding each individual through the Divine Gaia Sophia Rose of our planetary grid and through the Celestial Rose Sophia. And when I began to receive these direct teachings, they came in the form of visions. They came in the form of receiving knowingness and intuitive direction towards sacred sites, to certain information, to certain stellar constellations, and very specifically to the formation and the rhythms of Venus. So the star of Venus creates this most incredible sacred geometrical star around the Earth, and she dances with the Earth and the Sun, creating this incredible frequency and alignment to our bodies as human beings. I personally have a very direct experience with Venus, and this is very much my lineage as a Venusian Sisterhood of the Rose. Therefore, when this remembrance started to take place, perhaps 12 to 11 years ago, these were the first group collective consciousness that came to me through a transmission of my daughter, who came into my life 11 years ago. So firstly, I would love to share that my soul's path has been unraveling and unfolding and then blossoming like that of the rose, and much of the teachings have been direct connection with the Sisterhood of the Rose, whether it be the collective consciousness or a specific guide or guardian of the Rose. So very specifically, over these years I've been working very strongly with Mary Magdalene, awakening the Avalon codes, awakening the Avalon Priestess codes and the path of the Rose Priestess. I also work with White Buffalo Woman and Isis through the sound transmissions and awakening the Magdalene flame within my soul embodiment, and also upon the land within individuals that I share my personal retreats with, vision quests and light transmissions. So I am deeply passionate about bringing about a balance in our planetary grid, in humanity. And how I describe myself is that I am here to fully be present in my highest frequency of love, and to transform and bring light into the fear that is very present and anchored into this planet. Through eons and times of separation and wounding and trauma, the path of the Rose Priestess has come into my life to show me a really incredible way of not only transforming and directly going into the darkness or the shadow, but also to bring alchemy and to bring light and richness and texture into this experience of reemergence or emerging of the Divine Feminine. At this time, this is a huge transmission of feminine energies. Now, for me, the feminine energy is not about coming out of balance. It's very much universal. It's a universal love. It's this deep understanding of sacred union. So it is the path of deeply remembering and understanding our inner wisdoms and self-mastery as the creators of our realities. So coming back to the rose and how the work has been unraveling for me has been firstly through a vision that I received and that was imparted to me of the celestial rose. So the celestial rose is the divine embodiment of Sophia consciousness, the pure great mother womanhood, sisterhood of our now, embodied into this incredible quantum celestial rose of creation. My vision then developed, and I had this understanding that this incredible rose came through the vortex of Sirius into Venus, and then through the Shambhala lines of creation, and then 13 rose pillars were created upon our planet, and they are the 13 ancient mothers of creation who anchored their light and their wisdoms and these codes of creation into the planet in the Lemurian times. Their not only individualization created this incredible new dynamic for creation, but also as they landed and anchored into the unity grid, they created this amazing light shaft, and this sacred geometry and light and sound then created this most beautiful, immaculate temple of the rose. Coming forward and bringing this ancient knowledge with us now, I have been receiving these most incredible wisdom codes and teachings of the rose. They have directly been coming through Mary Magdalene, who is a guide and a guardian of the rose. Mary Magdalene is, from my personal experience, a womb shaman. She is a priestess of the rose and a high initiate of the Isis temple, and is very much here to bring about this presence and sacred union of each and every woman and man upon this planet. Mary Magdalene walked the path with Yeshua, her twin flame, her beloved, and together they walked upon this planet, literally going from sacred sites, sharing their teachings, but on a very simple level. By being together in this state of Christed consciousness, they literally were walking and stepping upon this planet and drawing and rising these codes of creation up from the earth, these blueprints of our immaculate templates, but also drawing in new levels of understanding and remembrance of our divinity and our nature. So, as part of this weaving and this incredible information and wisdoms that have been coming through, I have been creating this program which I call the Rose Formation, and they are separated into different projects. So we have like a 3-day retreat, we have 7 days, 10 days and 13, and each day is very specific, and they are arranged with a very specific sequence of temple teachings. So for example, in the retreat that I'm sharing in September 2019, we'll be travelling through an intimate women's journey over 3 days. Day 1 is the Temple of the White Rose. So the Temple of the White Rose, overlighted by the flame of love, is about reinitiating and remembering our lineage of the Rose Priestess. So we will take steps through sovereignty, love and devotion to bring about healing to the shadow aspect of the white rose. And through our initiations and passes of the White Rose Temple teachings, we will bring about this incredible healing and transformation to reinitiate ourselves. And in that process, we also heal and alchemize through the first Grail center any shadow that is there and ready to be shared and freed. This temple day is about illumination. It's about receiving our higher mind and the intelligence that comes with that. The process of initiation is a delicate sequence of bodywork and breathwork. It is a sacred geometrical light and sound attunement, and is sealed with a prayer and affirmation. The attunements of sound, light and sacred geometry are very specific to not only the temple teachings, but the actual center in which the wisdom is being recalibrated into. The first day is all about our higher wisdom through love of the mind, of the Grail center of illumination and divine perception. On day 2 of the retreat, we will be journeying into the Temple of the Red Rose. Again, these are temple teachings that will have a sequence of breath and body work, light, sacred geometry and sound seeds that are very related to that specific Grail center. They'll be sealed then with the prayer and affirmation, or a prayer and an affirmation. The Temple of the Red Rose is that of power. It is that of healing. So this is our healing day. It is of abundance and connecting into our cycles as a woman. This day is going to be the longest day that we have together. So we will be having a master session, and this is a golden ank of life, womb blessing and jade egg practice. So this is going to be a deeply healing and reprogramming of the womb, clearing ancestral lineage and bringing back an alignment and restoration to the area of our womb and our life force and the fountain of life that lives within us. To complete this day, we will have the dance come in the evening. We will have ceremony around the fire, light-heartedness, singing and sisterhood. This will be a very deeply powerful day of deep power red. So on our final day together, we will be sharing the temple teachings of the pink rose. And the pink rose is that of wisdom. It's this of the Sophia wisdom that we gain through integrating the rivers of the white and the red together. And we will be anchoring these through practices called the infinity practices of life. And they are practices that I've received from the Venusian Sisterhood, and they are awakening the tantric meridian in the body, the primary tantric meridian in the body, and activating the third Grail center of the heart. Through these practices of experiencing the tantric meridian, we will be activating the kundalini. We will be doing this very organically and with deep appreciation of our bodies and where we're at, to bring about an awakening of our divine masculine and our divine feminine spirits within us. This day the practices will be as individuals, but we will also be diving into this incredible teachings that I have received called the Illuminescent Women, and this is tantric practices on a really beautiful level where we share intimately together incredible ways of being and activating self-love and love for another. So very importantly, this final day is about deeply earthing, being aware of our divine perception, and then really expanding and opening the heart, this center, and allowing and feeling the soul come into the body and into the heart matrix. We do a very grounding practice to complete our day, and this seals the 3 Grail centers through this infinity of life force. I'd love to mention that within all of this deep activation and divine remembrance, we will be spending most of our time in nature. The rose is not only a symbol of the divine feminine, sacred union and love, but on our human level, she is the plant of the queen medicine. So the message I'm receiving is that really it's about coming back to our natural state of being, coming into nature and being in the stillness and expanding. So not only will we be experiencing these exquisite temple teachings, but we'll be doing very grounded work of being in nature, walking. Each day in the morning we will be doing our morning sadhana, yoga practice and spring water bathing. And we will have most of the day, apart from our sessions together, to be in nature, to eat beautiful foods and to drink plenty of beautiful spring water and nourishing and restorative teas. So really we are going to be accompanied by this rose on all levels, and the practices and passes of this quantum rose is really a deeply individual journey. And the final message is that throughout our time together we will go through the shadow aspect and bring it into the light of each of the rose temples. Once we have created this incredible foundation, we then can begin to allow ourselves to live from that place of love. And it begins with self-love, and it will begin as we awaken our hearts to the temple of the rose. All the information of the retreat that is coming up is on my website. This is corelightbeing.com. You can contact me directly through the website and ask me any questions. I am really, really excited. The venue that we'll be sharing our retreat together in is very close to the woods where I am right now. It's an amazing private retreat centre with its own rose garden, its own spring water, its own fairy house, and in walking distance to the forest that is surrounding the place. On a nourishment level, we will be eating vegetarian food, drinking much tea, that it was all grown in the garden and created and put together. And we will be receiving lots of support from the plant ally of the rose. On enrollment, each participant will receive a welcome pack, which will include a program of what we're doing. Through the post you will receive a rose essence, which is the Avalon rose, and this is all about coming home. And you will also receive a meditation and breath practice to continue the work, not only after, but to also prepare before you come to the retreat in our sharing together. So sending all my love, so much love, wisdom and power as we reinitiate ourselves into the path of the rose. Blessings. Mwah.
Magdalena, Maria, Magdalena, Maria, Magdalena, Maria. Magdalena.